Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of From Page to Stage. I'm your host, Wendy Corner, and this podcast is for you if you're an entrepreneur. Yes, page, stage, entrepreneur, they come together. Because if you are an entrepreneur, you might have a solo book out, you might have a compilation book out, you might have a blog, but I can guarantee you're on socials, aren't you? And what's that if it's not published work? So we can check that box. What about speaker, though? Ooh, do you like the public speaking idea? Maybe not. But if you can do a one-to-one conversation with somebody, you can get on a podcast. And yes, that is a stage, just like we're doing now. And oh boy, have I got trepidation. I'm about to interview a very interesting character by the name of Noah Fens. Yes, Noah Fens, that's his name. There may need to be a little bit of explanation off-site because this is a very British character, which not all of you may quite pick up the humour. But needless to say, we're going to have some fun with Noah. So, Noah, could you introduce yourself and give us a bit of a clue as to how did you get to where you are now?
Oh, that's a really good question. My name's Noah Fens, and I'm a Class D Motivator. I've had many careers, ranging from lots of things as a child, all the way through to being a coach and a seagull consultant. And if you've ever heard what a seagull consultant is, it's one of those people that sort of like looks down on you, soars above, charges overinflated high prices, and lets off all of their to-dos in the form of do-dos. But I've had lots of different great careers, which brings me to where I am today.
Right. Thank you for that. Now, we've invited you on because you have a book coming out, don't you?
I do, yes. I have a book coming out which is called I Am a Fish. It's a really gripping tale, not just the fish, obviously. And so it's one of those things that's been on my mind for quite a while because there's been lots of room up there. And it's just that right time for it to come out and appear.
Okay. So we'll pick up on the book in a minute, but I'd like to take you back in time. When did you first start to enjoy writing? I mean, we all started the mechanics of it round about the same age. But how old were you when you got excited about writing?
Oh, yes. I was thinking the other day, did I start writing before I could speak? And the answer to that was no, because that was just called drawing. And it was something I've always been interested in. Yep, because people say that I've always got an opinion about everything. And I thought, why not write it down?
Okay. So when was the first sort of writing that you did, other than the stuff that you had to do at school?
Oh, well, I used to have to write lines, well, draw lines, because you can't really kind of write them. And I started that at a very early age with crayons.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that I didn't eat,
On
of
the
course.
wall at home?
No, sometimes they went on the wall, but mainly I just tended to eat the crayons. The red ones are nicer than the blue ones. Just like to say that.
Oh, is that right? Okay, red one's nice. But is that to do with pills as well, I wonder?
What could you be implying?
Audience, I said we were going to have some fun, didn't I? Okay, so you've been drawing / writing from a very young age. Did you actually do any creative writing, say in your school years or teenage years?
Yeah, well, somebody sort of asked me this question the other day. They went, "What prompted you to write your own book?" And the answer to that was that I strongly believe in self-expression. In fact, that actually comes from my mum because she spent my entire childhood expressing herself because, well, she had a special pump. that just as a top tip, yeah, always read the label before drinking any milk from her fridge. There's a good tip for you. But apart from that, did you know that all humans have actually got genes that date back to the time of the fish, from the DNA of fish? That's right, we're all actually genetic descendants of fish. So this book that I really have been working on hard has been a great way to sort of have an expression of that one thought.
Okay. Which is why it's called I Am a Fish.
See, genius title.
I get it. I get it. As you said, it's a genius title. Right. But you've also been a speaker for quite a while, haven't you?
I have. I learned to speak very early, actually, even before I could write, which was probably quite handy.
Uh-huh.
But I also used to do a lot of speaking. I did a lot of work. My time working with Mosto, the Ministry of Stating the Obvious. Yeah, someone told me that I had a good book in me. Yeah, I went for an X-ray. They couldn't find it, but it's always been one of those things that I've been really, really thinking about. And speaking is obviously quite a bit easier than writing, so I thought I'd really focus on the speaking first. And as I say, sometimes I even listen.
That's very good. That's very admirable. Yeah. So speaking came first, followed by writing.
That's right.
In your wonderful career, your illustrious career, did you have to do any speaking as part of that?
Oh yes, I've always done lots of speaking as a Seagull consultant. Yeah. And
Mhm.
that's always been really, really great. But there was one role where I didn't really get to do much speaking. I had this wonderful opportunity to become a dolphin trainer. Yeah, like we just really, really, really got on, me and the dolphins. You know, we just sort of like we just clicked, well, and whistled and clicked, and then whistled some more and a bit more clicking and whistling.
Mhm.
But we didn't really get much of a chance to speak. So that was a really unusual role.
Okay, so we went from the seagull to the dolphin.
We did. Yes. Yes. Bit of a journey there.
Yes, probably just vertically, was it?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
point. Well made.
Okay. What happened after the dolphin training? What was your role after that?
Oh, oh, that's difficult for me to remember. Uh, what did I do? I mean, I've done so many different roles. I was
Mm.
actually a life coach for a while because people kept asking me, yeah, like, like this, but how are you still alive? So I thought I'd make it into a career, and I seem to do quite well with that career. Yeah. So a lot of people change direction. I seem to really motivate people. That's one of the things that I've learned, is that I really can motivate people. They often feel so motivated to get up and go, even before I finish my sentence.
Right. Okay. So have you done any motivational speaking in front of groups?
Oh, yes. They're not all anonymous groups either. Yeah, I've actually been speaking on stages and on pod shows like this one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I've been trying to get the word out there. And I am a fish was one of those things that the first time I went on stage, I said that and then I fell over. But apart from that, like I have actually continued to make it all the way through sometimes.
So how long was your longest talk?
I think I ramble for hours before.
A few.
Yeah.
And did everybody stay to the end?
Oh no, 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 no. It was an empty room. In fact, one of the most memorable talks I ever did was I was asked to be a guest presenter on for the Procrastinators Anonymous annual awards ceremony. And I turned up and there wasn't actually anybody else there because they'd all like forgot to turn up and missed they'd not got there yet. The photographer, they weren't there either. And in fact, nobody was there. It was very dark as well because he didn't put the lights on.
I was going to ask you though, were you there on the right day?
That could have been the problem. That could have been the problem. But no, same thing happened the year before.
Oh, and
Yeah.
they asked you back.
Yep. Yep. And I always say, like, and the reason why they called me in to the Procrastinators Anonymous annual awards ceremony is because I always sort of say, yeah, that hard work pays off later, but procrastination pays off now. And that seemed to have get me the gig, really.
Right, yeah. But sadly, nobody was around to hear it.
What can I say? There's always next year or the year after or the year after that or the year after that.
On time. Yeah. Did you get paid?
Apparently, the check's in the post. Every time I actually call them up, they always say that they're going to do it tomorrow. That's
Yeah.
the problem with dealing with procrastinators.
Yes. It's always manana, isn't it? Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I think he works there as well.
Okay, right. Just so I know where to find him. Got
Yes.
it. Okay. So your speaking journey has involved some stage work. Have you done many other podcasts?
Yes, I've been on a few pod shows. I've actually even tried to do some lives as well because
Yeah.
I don't know how to do not live. Yeah, apart from just lying down and staying really, really still, but that's not very exciting to watch.
Mm-hmm. But so these have been on other people's lives, or have you done live interviews
Or
with the camera yourself?
yes, I've done some interviews to the camera myself, and I've also been training an AI to interview me as well, and that one gave up.
Were they
But
part of the
yes,
procrastination team as well?
it could have been. It could have been.
Yeah. Okay. So quite a lot of speaking.
Yes, yes.
But the I
I
am a
always like to
fish
get
is
paid
your
per word.
pardon?
I always like to get paid per word.
Do you?
Yeah,
Okay, so that's another reason possibly that the procrastination people haven't paid you because you were there for a few hours, did you say?
I was, but I didn't really speak because there wasn't anybody there.
Okay. So you could tell them that you spoke on so many thousands of words, and
I
who's
could.
to tell them that you didn't?
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah.
Ah,
Okay. I'll think about that for next year.
yeah, if you're invited back. Got it.
If you meet them, put in a good word.
Well, I mean, the testimonials will speak for themselves, won't they?
Oh, they do. I like to gather testimonials. I've got lots and lots and lots of great testimonials that I'm very, very proud of. Yeah. There's lots of people have sort of said that they feel so much better after they leave. Lots of people say that they feel a lot better about being themselves after spending time in my company. Um, and like great testimonials like that. Somebody even said, yeah, that no one could be better. So I think next year they're going to book no one.
Right. Well, I mean, with an introduction like that, you've got to go after him, haven't you?
Exactly.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. So we've talked about your writing. The I Am a Fish, is that your only published work or soon to be published work?
Yeah, I've written 12 and a half books, but
12 and a half.
yeah,
Okay.
been published. Yes, yes,
Have they
yeah.
been published?
No.
Okay. Are there plans to publish?
Yes, there are. Yes, yes. I've found a really good publisher who's going to help to get my words out there, and hopefully they will be on shelves and in Christmas stockings everywhere, especially at Christmas.
That would be good. That's a good time of year to have them out. So are you planning to put them all out at once, or are you drip feeding?
Oh, I do like to drip feed. Yeah, I did that like when I used to like look after little animals and things as well. I like to drip feed then as well, but not fish. Yeah, because they don't do very well if you keep them out of water for too long.
No, you're right. You're right. So thinking about then the drip feeding of your books, when are you likely to start the dripping?
Well, we're working on the date of 2x2, the 2nd of February.
But
Because
isn't that for I Am a Fish?
that is right. Yes, that is
Yes.
correct. And
Okay.
from there, it's all going to be down, uphill, down, whichever way from there to get them all out. So
Right.
slowly
One
but
a month?
surely.
Are you doing one a month?
Oh, I don't know about that. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to check out the leaflet from the Procrastinators Anonymous site to see what they recommend as well.
And also talk to the publisher, obviously.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So speaking, you've done quite a lot of corporate stuff in your D-class motivation. You've done the podcast episodes we've done with various people. You've done some live interviews. Have you ever done any MC work?
Well, I'm not very good at scratching. Well, obviously, like this kind of scratching, but not like MC scratching.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I'm
'cause
not talking about DJ. I'm talking about
oh,
MC, as in
that could have been a new career for me, you know.
what, DJ or MC?
DJ MC, if I can spell it.
Okay, right. You know, the scratching thing doesn't exist anymore. It's all done on the electronic boards.
It doesn't exist anymore, but I use about 2 bottles of calamine lotion a week.
Okay, you carry on with that, and I'll think about the electronic scratching.
Okay. Is that like AI robots?
No, no,
Oh.
it's when you have a mixing desk and you have different tracks set up
Kitchen.
on.
I do a lot of mixing in the kitchen.
Yes, no, I'm talking about an electronic mixing desk when you see the sound studios. Oh, that's a question for you. Are you going to do an audio version of I Am a Fish?
It's funny you should say that. Yes, we do intend to do an audio version, and each reference to being a fish will hopefully be so expressive in a different way that people are just going to want to queue up to hear the audiobook. We really, really want to give a knockout performance. And obviously not knocking any fish out, because that would just be really cruel.
That, as you say, that would be cruel. So no fish were harmed in the making of the audio.
No, except the one that had to trace around for the cover, but that was fine.
Okay, but that was the audio.
Yeah.
We were talking about the audio, and that would have been the original.
The original fish, yes, that's right.
So are we looking at hardback, softback, audio, and Kindle?
Yes, you can actually then download it to a Kindle or to a tablet or a
E-reader.
an e-reader. Ah, yes, that's right. Nothing like an e-reader, is there?
Well, I mean, there are more than one. There's more than one version of an e-reader, isn't there? It's not just Kindle.
There is.
Indeed. And as we both grew up in the UK, we know that the BBC have to put the rider on other. Well, what is it? Other makes are available.
Yes, we will put that disclaimer on. That other fish are available.
Yes, and other e-readers are available.
And e-readers.
Okay, so we've talked about the reading, the writing. We've talked about the speaking, and this book is coming out on the 2nd of February. You're telling us.
That's correct. That is the planned release date for the world to await.
Premiere.
The world premiere of I Am a Fish.
Are you having a launch party?
We might do. We might do. We might have a lunch party, a dinner party, and maybe even a breakfast party.
Oh, the 2nd is a Sunday, isn't it?
It is. So it's more like Sunday brunch.
Brunch, yeah.
Brunch party.
Have a long lie on a Sunday morning. Yes.
Yeah, that'll do.
Okay, cool. And you said that there are other titles that you're ready to drip feed after I Am a Fish comes out.
I'm just going to clarify with you. When you say other titles, if you're meaning pronouns, yeah, then I tend to go by he, yeah. Whereas my mother, who was actually a nun, she doesn't really believe in pronouns so much as pronouns, yeah. But yeah, so I'm definitely he.
You're definitely he, but he. Fine, thank you very much for clarifying that. No, I was talking about
important.
titles of books.
Oh, right. Oh, because I thought you were talking about like when people want to identify as something, and I've got the title of the book called I Am a Fish, which makes it sound like I identify as a fish. But my cousin, right, he identifies as a fast car. Yeah. But
Okay.
I don't quite get it because I sort of said to him, like, can you do 200 miles an hour? And he went, no. And I think he said a breakdown.
Right. So he prompted that's, I feel for him. I feel for him.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got other books coming out after.
We do. Those titles are going to be secret for now, unless you join the Noah Fens Fan Club.
Right. Audience, we will try and extract the link from Noah to put into the show notes for you to join the Noah Fens Fan Club, should you have the burning desire to do so.
Oh, don't mention burning desire, right?
Oh,
Because my great 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 grandmother, yeah, she was a toast of the town. She was actually burned as a witch, so we don't really like to talk about that.
we'll draw a veil over that one. Oh, but that's your mother, isn't it? Is a nun.
That's my mother's a nun, yeah. Her name's Nun Taken, yeah, or was Nun Taken. Then after she met my dad, she became Mistaken, yeah. And then she married my dad, Dwyer Fence, yeah. My daughter, she likes my dad's name, so she's actually called Barbara Dwyer Fence. So
Yeah.
for short, we call her Bob Dwyer
Yeah.
Fence. Yeah,
Yeah. Got it. Got it. Okay.
got a
So
great family.
absolutely. I mean, fantastic names. Love them.
Mm.
We've talked
My,
about
my
your.
grandfather, he's a bit dodgy. Is my grandfather, a bit racist and everything. So it's like we don't really talk to him very much. He's major offense, but yeah,
So he's the Irish side of the family.
yeah, yeah.
Got it. Got it. Okay. So we talked about the speaking. We've talked about the writing. We know that your book is coming out on the 2nd of February.
That's right.
I'm going to ask you, how do you embody your words when you take them from page to stage?
How do I embody them? That's such a
Yeah,
lovely term, isn't it?
isn't it?
Embody them. What I do is I like think them up and then I write them down. And that seems to work really, really well. Although
Okay.
sometimes I do make mistakes.
That's when you get them onto the page, but then how do you take them from that page and speak them out onto stages? Do you have a particular ritual or a way that you like to work when you get them on stage?
Yeah, well, don't mention rituals. But yes, when I was at school, yeah, it was a really, really, really good school. In fact, it was special. And what we did was we actually learned to read out the letters and make the sounds, and
Uh-huh.
the rest just seemed to happen quite naturally. Really, I think I'm gifted that way.
Okay. Right. So you write out your script, your talks before you give them?
Oh yes, oh yes. I think you have to get a good idea of what you're going to say, because
Yes.
otherwise you just end up talking rubbish.
Uh-huh. Mhm. And having written it out, do you keep to it or do you do your own thing once you get on stage?
I like to improvise, but there's some of my other relatives aren't that can't do that because like one of my cousins, he thought he had Tourette's. That's what we all thought about him because he had Tourette's because he used to keep shouting out like playing cards like three of diamonds and five of spades. Yep. But then we realized it's just his mind playing tricks with him.
Okay, got it, got it. Right. Okay, well, no, we've talked about your speaking, we've talked about your writing. We know the book's coming out on the 2nd of February.
That's right.
You've told us about how you embody your words. Final thoughts as we're wrapping up. Have you got any final wisdom for our audience?
Oh, wisdom thoughts. Yeah. Yeah. People are always asking me for nuggets, which always makes me think, where do they get boneless chickens from? Yeah, because you'd think that they'd need bones to be able to stand up. In fact, they'd never be good at stand up, would they? Let's face it. But
Mhm.
like you think they'd need bones. But that's a whole different thought pattern. I might even write a book about them as well. But
Okay,
I always
like I
like
am a chicken nugget.
that's a great title. Do you mind if I borrow that?
I think I'll give that one to you with love.
Thank you. Thank you. But I always believe in trusting our senses because, well, although that doesn't really make sense to me because people, they say that we've only got 5 senses, sort of like sight, smell, taste, touch, and sound. See?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I also think that we've got a sense of responsibility, a sense of fashion, common sense, frankincense, all of those. So they always seem to get forgotten about.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
That's a
So
very good
I would
point.
say use your senses.
In their entirety.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you feel as though you've been blessed with a great deal of common sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. But some people say common sense isn't so common, but I've been called common all the time.
Have you?
I have.
So would you class that as a compliment?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it can complement a lot of things.
Yes. Yeah. Lovely. Lovely. Well, Richard, thank you so much for sharing your.
Richard, my agent. Yes, that's right.
Oh, Richard's your agent. I'm sorry, I got that wrong, didn't I?
You did,
Noah.
yes.
Noah.
He's a funny character, that my agent, right? You guess like he's just such a character, right? For a short while, he became vegan, right? But he's not anymore. I'll tell you all about this, right? And as a vegan, like here's the thing: how do you know if there's a vegan in the room?
Go on.
They'll tell you. Well, he basically decided to try veganism, yeah, and then he decided that he just wasn't going to eat mammals, so he's what's called a maphist. That's the word for it. Personally, I think the word for it is just fussy.
Okay. Maphist.
Yeah, it's a real word. Look it up.
I
It's nothing to do
will.
with mafia. Yeah, that's different entirely. That's when you
Yes.
sleep with the fishes. Yeah, rather than just choose to eat them.
Okay. Right. Got it. So if you're a maphist, you're able to eat poultry.
Yes, just not red meats or furry things or
Um,
furry
I,
red meat.
I,
Although here's another thing as well, right? People always go on about how bad for you red meat is. Yeah, but
uh-huh.
personally, I think green meat's even worse.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So coming from Australia, as I lived in Australia for quite a while, I would still be able to eat roux, wouldn't I?
No, kangaroo. That's definitely, even though it's a marsupial, that's another
Yes, it's
good
not a
word, isn't it?
mammal.
Yeah, it's a mammal. Yep, and there's
It's a
marsupial, but no
marsupial.
soup in it. Yeah,
Yes. Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Forgive me for giving you the wrong name. It was Richard that I was speaking to get you booked.
I
So
agent.
that was my confusion there. So Noah, thank you so much for sharing your from page to stage.
You're very welcome.
For
Thank you
now,
for inviting me on your pod show. It's always great to be on pod shows and to be able to reach out and meet new people and new fans.
right. Audience, just in case you were eagle-eyed and spotted, Noah is actually at Richard's place, because if you look at his title at the bottom of his page on his Zoom screen, you'll see it says Rich. That's
But
what
I'm not.
confused me. It's not him, but he's around
Rich.
at his agent's place. So if just in case you were wondering what that was about, that's what it is.
Yes,
You see
yes.
why I got muddled up here, can't you? Okay, Noah, thank you very much for sharing your from page to stage.
You're very, very welcome, Wendy, and thank you for having me on your podcast.
For now, everyone, bye from us.
Bye bye.